In our last show, we talked about how Social Security is potentially going to become insolvent in 2032. And so that begs the question, well, what am I going to do about retirement? Where's my income going to come from? And today, we're going to talk about how going beyond Social Security and focusing on other sources of income is the way to go. You got to plan your financial future. And today, I'm going to give you 4 ways to create a retirement income stream that doesn't rely on Social Security. Let me bring in my co-host, Tony. Tony, welcome to the show. We're talking about retirement income and how we can no longer rely on Social Security, moving beyond Social Security.
Wow.
Because, as we've always said, I don't think anyone's coming to help us, Tony.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
2 shows in a row, we've had that great quote from Reagan. I love that.
So the government's not coming to help you. You need to have plan B, C, D, and E. So let's go through those today, Tony. What do you say?
I think it sounds great. I know that this is your wheelhouse, and you really specialize in creating a retirement income for people you work with, clients, and you've helped a lot of people in the community with this, Dan. So I'm anxious to hear this because a lot of people are worried and concerned, rightfully so, about Social Security. So what do you do?
Well, you can't rely on Social Security. I mean, it's going to be a foundation. We did a show on how to read the statement, and in black and white on that statement, it says this is not designed to be your only source of income. This is a portion of it. So if you're sitting on 100% of your retirement income come from Social Security, that's a problem. You know, we need it to cover about 40 to 60% of income, right? So we need other sources for that amount to cover the difference. And we need them to be flexible. We need them to be tax friendly, and we need to be risk-free in some cases or reduced risk. So the idea is you want to create income streams to create a peace of mind for retirement. So you're not sweating what's happening on the government level with Social Security. So I'm going to give 4. I'll put them in order of what I think are popularity. No, I'm not going to do popularity. Put them in order of what I think people should be thinking of these, but there's no reason why you can't think of all 4. So number 1 is portfolio withdrawals and investment income. This is the most common one that people are familiar with. You got your 401k. How do you turn the 401k into systematic withdrawals to create income? And that's a good place to start. Again, it assumes you have a bucket of money. I use the bucket approach. I put 401k into different buckets for different time years. People use dividend income from stocks. People use bond income. But the idea is you're creating a systematic withdrawal plan from your retirement savings to make up the difference between what you need and what Social Security provides.
Makes sense.
Key factors on this. Well, we did a show, Tony, on how more and more 401ks are now offering guaranteed income stream products within it.
Like an annuity.
Right. Within the 401k, a lot of people just do the 4% rule. We've done countless shows on all this, but the first place to start is to look at what you have and start building an income stream from it.
Right.
And the 2 things I would say you want to make sure you're thinking about are taxation and coordinating the required minimum distributions. And the other thing is you got to think about what level of risk you want and how much you want to leave behind. Because a lot of people, they don't want to touch that principle, but in reality, they're going to be forced to. Because a 4% withdrawal rate is probably not enough for a lot of people.
It's not realistic anymore. The old 4% rule it doesn't work for most people right now.
True. Right. Okay. Second income stream, pensions and annuities. This is guaranteed income. A lot of people that have pensions, they're happy, right? We've done shows on this.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a pension, obviously you're going to use it. That's another source of income and a lot of burden off your back. Government employees, my dad, as a prime example, he has Social Security and he's got his pension from being a teacher for 30 years in New York State. Between those 2 things, he's okay. He doesn't have much else. So he didn't really have much of a choice, but he didn't have to overthink it. And so you're giving up liquidity My dad gave up the opportunity to have a huge 401k when he became a teacher. It wasn't an option, didn't exist. But then a 403b, whatever, he didn't have that luxury of having a lump sum to do what he wanted with. He had his Social Security and his pension. Did he like it? He didn't have a choice, so it wasn't a discussion,
Right.
right? So you might be saying, "Oh, I wish I had a pension," or "Government pensions are over." That's bull. They're rich. They got it made. I wish I had a government pension. Life is easy if you have a government pension. Well, what's preventing you from making your own?
I'm one of those people. I wish I had a pension. My wife and I say, I wish we had gotten into a government job early on, or a state job where we get a pension, or a big company that still had pensions, which are private companies don't offer pensions anymore, really. But
they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
But Tony, a lot of people say that. Oh, I wish I had a government pension. It must be nice.
Yeah.
Well, then create your own. You can, and we've done shows on that.
Yep.
You could take a lump sum of your money, give it to an insurance company, and say, "Give me a guaranteed lifetime income stream from it." That's the same thing as a pension.
Yeah.
You've given up control of that asset, and that's very difficult for people to do. But it's a lot more difficult to give up that control than it is to point finger at a government employee and say, "Oh, you got an overblown pension." You could do it. People just don't. They struggle with it. But I'm suggesting people take a long, hard look at that. Just be warned. You got to be careful with liquidity. You don't want to put all your eggs down that basket, because if you don't have any other assets, then you might run into some liquidity issues, cash crunch. You don't want that. So be strategic about it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Third, Tony, here we go. Home equity. I can't believe I said it. Home equity. We're talking reverse mortgages. Oh,
yeah. It's a big one that people don't want to talk about, home equity, and they don't view their house they view it as an asset, but not in the way that they might want to for retirement if they need it for income.
Right.
Yeah.
Home equity conversion mortgage. You could convert your home equity into tax-free lump sum payments, or a line of credit, monthly income. Whatever you could do that. You could stop your mortgage payments using the equity in your home. Prime example is someone that doesn't have a pension. All they have is Social Security, and their biggest asset is $500,000 of home equity in their house that they paid off 10 years ago. Hey, I'm not saying it's good to not have a mortgage. I'm just saying, how are you ever going to tap into that home equity? How are you ever going to ever touch that $500K? You're not, unless you take a reverse mortgage, or you move and downsize and take the lump sum from the difference between where you're moving to and what you sold it for. But people don't like it. They don't like it, again, because they're giving up some control, or they don't understand it, and they get worried because they've heard bad stories.
Yep.
But you know what's a bad story? Someone that's sitting there cutting pills, or that is eating, not buying their pills because they can't afford it, yet they're sitting on home equity because they don't realize they can tap into it.
Yeah,
they're afraid.
and you've seen it happen. I mean, people have come to you. I mean, we've all heard the stories or known people like that in that situation, and that's really sad. And some people hear, "Oh no, he's not recommending reverse mortgages. I've heard they're terrible. My grandmother lost their house, or somebody lost a house. They lost the house because payments don't stop. You still have to pay your property taxes and insurance. And what happens is people do the reverse mortgage and they don't factor in or properly take care of making sure the insurance and property taxes are paid for. And then eventually they run into trouble there. And that's the thing. But I mean, if you got a guy with a mustache like this, Tom Selleck telling you it's okay. If the mustache says it's okay, right?
Well, because the mustache is on there, there's fees involved that are going to be high.
That's
So you got
right.
someone's paying for that.
Somebody's
that
paying
beautiful
for
stash.
Selleck. Someone's paying for the mustache. That's for sure.
Yeah. So be warned about that. But talk to your financial advisor about the math of downsizing, about the math of a reverse mortgage or a home equity line of credit. It's a way to generate an income stream to augment Social Security. That's what I'm saying. People don't do it. I don't know. But I'm telling you, it's a huge, huge factor. And, if the law passes this year in 2026 in Florida to raise the homestead exemption from, a lot higher, property taxes are going to go down for a lot of people. So
It's awesome.
Tapping into the home equity line, home equity that you have is going to be even more powerful because your expenses are going to be going down tax-wise. Anyway, and last but not least, Tony, and I put this one last because it is my personal last, although it's on the list because I still believe it's important, and it's part-time work or Encore career, side income.
Side
I helped a
hustle,
lot of people with
gig economy.
Right. Yeah, I don't like that term because it's like you feel like you're hustling, you're working hard.
Yeah.
But I've done. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the interviews I've done with retirees, Tony, giving their opinion. One of the common themes people have is they didn't expect the inflation to be as much, and they find themselves not being bored. But those that do find themselves bored kind of realize that work wasn't all about the money, it was about the social. So this stream of income doing part-time work or an Encore career isn't always about just the income. In this show it is, because we're talking about creating an income stream. But it's also about the social connections, staying busy and spending less time doing things that are negative for your health or wallet. So I don't think people should look at continuing. I don't mean for this to be said as I'm just going to have to work until I die. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying take some sort of activity that you enjoy and use that to create some side income to bridge the gap between what Social Security is failing, especially if we have a decrease in Social Security due to the mismanagement over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, a part-time job in retirement, it gives you purpose. It increases, like you said, the social activity, Dan. And I think it's so important because you can actually do something you like. If you're into golf, get a part-time job at a golf course, or if you're into books, work at a library. I mean, there's so many things you can do that might also be rewarding. If you're really you want to you can donate time and volunteer, but there's also paying jobs at churches, libraries, museums. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Or in your former career as a consultant, a lot of people go back to work because they want to. And it's nice to work because you want to, but also that income, that is a way to create more, another part of your income stream too. So,
and there's no reason why you can't do it, all of these, and maybe get a little side. And maybe I can't make enough to cover the gap. Well, do the other four. Do all four of these.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the action steps for people that are watching. First thing you do is you determine what your income need is. That's the hardest part. Most people don't have any idea what they need for income. Odds are your spending is going to go down as you get older. Don't listen to all this. You need 1.5 million. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Your income needs probably going to go down as you get older. So determine it there first. Figure out, what do I need? Continue to use Social Security as a foundation. Maximize the Social Security. Look at it. Do what you need to do to get the most out of that, and then see what the gap is. You calculate the shortfall. Social Security can give me $2,500 a month. I need $3,500 a month. I have $1,000 shortfall. Now what, Dan? That's when you start looking at these four to say, all right, how am I going to fill that income gap? Do I take a withdrawal from my portfolio? How long will that last? You got to do the math. Do I take a portion of that and buy an annuity or a lifetime income stream? Or do I just stick with dividend stocks and bonds or something like that? Right? Do I have a real estate investment that gives me real estate income? Right? So you could create income streams. Do I use my home equity? I don't look at it as a piggy bank. but look at it as a way to create a lifetime income or a steady income for you to use, or an emergency fund, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, do I need to pick up a part-time job to go with that? But don't pick up the part-time job because you feel like you want to leave, you don't want to touch your home, or you want to leave a big chunk of change in your IRA for the future generations. Take the part-time job because you want something to do, something you enjoy, and you just want to augment your lifestyle. And that's it. Those are the 4, and those are the action steps. And I'm hoping that people will start thinking about these instead of harping on how Social Security is failing and they're going to be destitute. Take action now. And if you're still not yet retired, like Tony, like you, if you still got years before you need to even think about whether or not to turn Social Security on, start building an action plan now on some of these income streams so that you're not hit with the decision at the wrong time. Start building the foundation of future income stream. That's my message.
Good show, Dan. Great message.
So if you need help coming up with an income stream, figuring out what your income need is, you need help, talk to a certified financial planner. They're going to talk about all these things. Give us a call, 888-508-5935. If you know what you need and you have an income gap, talk to somebody. Get a financial professional to tell you, here's how you could do it. And if they say, oh, you can't touch your principal, get a second opinion. If they say you can't touch the house, it's sacrosanct, get a second opinion. There's no right answer, but there's definitely not any wrong answers. Like, oh, you can't do that. If anyone tells you, oh, you can't ever touch that, or you can't do that, you can't ever go back to part-time work, get a second opinion. You want someone that's open to all ideas. Don't be pigeonholed.
Right. And what's your web address people can visit?
DolphinFinancialGroup.com. You can go to the show notes on this show and click on the link. It'll take you right to us to contact us for a complimentary consultation. Thanks again for a good show, Tony. We'll catch everyone next week.